So I'm going to be there. I will set up a link around one of her games. I think one of her games are when we're supposed to be in class together. So it may be a little bit later in the day, like instead of 3 o'clock, maybe it will be 4 o'clock or whatever. Okay, fair enough. Anyhow, there's that. Yeah, so we're going to talk portfolios. Might be an hour and a half. We'll leave the rest of the time open for open period. Do the lecture, and then we'll look at your last piece of homework for me. Okay? Which is based off of this lecture. Okay? So really it is about looking at your portfolios and what you need after you leave. Okay? Because they're really, really important. Like super important, your portfolios. Okay? Especially for this industry. Truthfully, there is nothing more important to your career than your portfolio, okay, to potential employers. They want to know what you can do before they hire you, okay? I don't know, is Mark, okay, this is off topic. This has nothing to do with portfolios, but did Marco talk to you about in-class stuff? Like when it comes to, I don't care if you take pictures of my slides, it doesn't bother me. It's actually against school policy, just so you know.
Oh, sorry.
I don't care. Even recording. You're not supposed to record anything. Okay? Why? Ask the school. Okay? It is against policy. I believe it is on professor by professor basis. Okay? It may become a hard no. I think it's because of privacy issues. Okay? Just so you know. All right? I'm pretty lenient though. So you can take pictures, it's okay. Okay? So, anyways, but I'd rather you take notes, personally. I'm old school that way. Okay? Yeah. So yeah, it is really important for you to have your work out there and present it in a attractive way, okay? Hopefully, with a little bit of personality, and I'll talk about personality and where you can interject some personality into your portfolio so that potential employers want more from you, okay? Want to see more from you, want to talk to you, essentially, is what we want to get from your portfolios, okay? Really, a simple definition of your portfolio is, the purpose of it is somewhat simple. It's a collection of your best work, okay? Whether you're a designer, a motion designer, a front-end developer, a back-end developer, it's a collection of the best work that you've produced, okay? It is easy to understand, I hope, right? In school, you've done work. It's the best bits of it goes into your portfolio, okay? It's pretty tough to initially design, develop, and maintain. Okay, why is it hard to initially design your portfolio website, do you think? Why is that? Versus if I give you a project like we did for your final integrated project, it said rebrand this brand. And you have to come up with a website, right? Okay. Why is that maybe a little bit easier than doing your own portfolio?
I think you have limited resources. Like your works, they're not a lot. So you don't have a variety of different things to show.
Very true. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like just the sheer amount of content to put in there can be kind of stressful. Absolutely. We'll talk about that too. But I think really for me, and you'll probably notice this, is if I do work for a client, so such as like a rebrand, like you're doing for a final integrated project, you have parameters, right? You have limitations. And creativity really comes out in limitations, you know, some walls. It's your portfolio. You really don't have limitations. And that makes it hard. Yeah, you don't know where to start. You don't have that, the limitations are really endless. It's up to you, correct? It can be, yeah. And you know what they call that? It's designer disease. Okay? It's like you're never happy. You're never happy. You're like, oh, I should did this, or I should try this, or I should try that. There's no final stop. You just you're constantly second guessing yourself and so forth. That's designer disease. Okay? It's hard to know when to go, done, gotta move on. Gotta move on. Okay? So when it comes to your portfolio, and I'm no different, truthfully, when I did my first portfolio, it was hard. Okay? It was really hard to, you know, maybe I should use this background, maybe I should use that background, maybe I'm gonna use these colors and so forth and so on. But, you know, in the coming semesters, because I'll let you in on a secret, your next final integrated project is your portfolio sites. Next semester. Okay? You get all semester to do it. Semester 3. Yeah, next semester. Okay? So you're gonna have to design, develop, and, you know, eventually maintain your portfolio site. Okay? It should evolve, correct? Because what you've created in school now, you know, as you go through, you know, our years here or our semesters, your work inevitably should get better, correct? Because you'll know more, yes? And then when you go into industry, you'll work on more projects and make it better and better. So you're constantly going to update it, constantly, okay? But initially, all this stuff is pretty tough. That's why it takes all semester, next semester, for you to do it, okay? So let's talk about, let's kind of break it down. You know, potential employers, potential clients that you may end up working with. Expect to see a portfolio. I would never give you a job without seeing what you can do, okay? So it's definitely online. All potential employers, all clients want to see that you have a portfolio site, okay? This one here, by Claire Marshall, she was in IDP, okay, so she sat in your seats. She was in the Western and IDP program. It's now defunct. Western separated from us and whatever, okay? So she took this course, then she graduated this course, and then she took IMS. So that's the Interactive Media Specialist course after this course. It's a one-year course that specializes in code and design, okay? And I remember when I was talking with her, she wanted to learn more about development, even though she's a designer, and a fantastic designer. One of the best I've ever seen come out of this course. So when she graduated from IMS, she entered her portfolio site into Applied Arts, which is a massive graphic design or design publication, okay? And she won. So I don't know if it looks the same. I think it was on, well, it was on Interrobang. They had a whole thing on it. So she graduated from IMS in 2018. And, yeah, Rob Hoff actually, kind of not pushed her, but encouraged her to enter her portfolio site into the applied arts, and she won. Okay, she works. She has her own company. I think her own company with her boyfriend, who was in your seats as well, and the IMS seats. It's called Boy and Girl. So they have their own company, and she might be working at JM3 out of Toronto. I think it's jm3.com. Okay, really cool agency, downtown Toronto. She may be there, or maybe it's her boyfriend, I can't remember. Okay, but the interesting part of the story is her boyfriend and her work at agencies downtown Toronto, and they're rival agencies. Okay, so it's kind of cool. But she, from this, she got massive publicity, when it came to her work. And I'm sure that really helped, when it came to getting a job. Okay. So check out Claire Marshall's site. Again, it's probably changed from the initial design that she had, but okay. So yeah, hiring managers, recruiters generally don't have a lot of time. Let's face it, in this industry, once you get out there, there isn't a lot of time. Okay, you'll be working, you'll be busy. So if I'm a hiring manager or I'm the owner of a company, let's make it easy for them to quickly digest your work. Okay? Don't make it complicated. Keep it simple, easy to digest quickly. Okay? And that's really, if you're a designer, you're a coder, you're a motion designer, or whatever you're going to be when you leave here. Okay? Keep it simple. Isn't it the KISS acronym? Keep it simple. We used to say stupid, but that's not right anymore. That's politically incorrect. Keep it simple, smart guy. Right? Just keep it simple. And I mean that in a way of navigation, getting around on your site, how you display down to how you display your work. Just keep it simple. Okay. Next semester, when you actually do this, there will be restrictions though when it comes to some of the coding languages that you use and so forth and so on, because you'll have to demonstrate some JavaScript stuff for Trevor, and design-wise, I don't know if I'll be your instructor or Jared. We'll be reviewing it in UX and UI terms and so forth and so on. So just keep this in the back of your mind. Simple, quick, and easy to digest. Okay? It'll be nice for potential employers to be able to peruse your site in that manner. Okay? If we really break this down, we really think about your portfolios. These are the three main areas. Okay? A portfolio section, an about section, and a contact section. That's really it. That's all you need, okay, in your portfolio site. Okay? That's what clients are looking for, those areas. So if we break it down further, you're looking in your portfolio section to see, well, how good are they at what they say they are, okay? As in, are you a front-end developer? Are you an illustrator? Are you a graphic designer? Whatever you become, they want to know, they want to be able to look at that in your portfolio section, right? And then this is how, when I get portfolios, this is what I generally do. I look at your work first, and then I like your work. I may look at, say you've got 30 samples. I'll probably look at the first 2, generally speaking. If I have more time, then I'd look at it more, truthfully. But I want to see how good you are, and then I want to know who you are. I want to go to the About section and read about you, and know about you. Okay? You know, do you sound like a good fit with the company that I work with, or my company, or me as a client? Would I want to work with you? Okay? And then after I'm like, man, I love their work, they're an interesting person, then I want to be able to get in contact with you. It's kind of like almost a 3-step process, right? 3-step process. So how good are you? You know, are you a fit for my company? And then how do I get a hold of you? Okay. Do you realize I get to judge you before I even meet you on your portfolios, right? Same with your resumes. It's a pretty important piece of paper when I don't even know who you are and I get to judge you by what you put on it. And I get to do that with your portfolio sites too, right? So that's why they're so important to your career. Okay? But again, to keep it simple, those are the 3 things that are important on your portfolio website. Okay? Oh, what else can we add to it? Like in base form, those 3 things. Is there anything else we can add? Like, is there? Absolutely. We'll talk about social media in a bit, but no, I wouldn't. You'll put a link to your cover letter on there for sure, so I can download your PDF. Though in saying that, I have seen some people create a resume page.
Wouldn't that be basically your portfolio?
No, they actually, in HTML, they knock out their resume
Okay.
instead of doing a PDF. I'm not partial to doing it that way. Just download the PDF. That's what I make life easier for you. What about if you've worked with clients? Could you put on testimonials? You could have a whole testimonial section if you've worked with a bunch of clients. Or if you have like a long 1-page scroller, that could be its own little section.
So basically someone who could attest to the work that you...
Absolutely, yeah. So, you know, you've done work for me, and then you ask me to give you, you know, a quote on how fun it was or how good it was to work with you. And then you take that and you put it on your website. Okay? That's pretty common too.
So as a student, so is it okay to add references of our professor?
Yes, if you get one. Okay? Don't ask me for one. Okay? I don't do it. It's my policy. Okay? I don't do references. But that doesn't mean some of the other profs won't do it. Okay? You can ask me, but I will tell you, unfortunately, no. Okay? So I'm just saving you the rejection. Now, I'm just being totally honest. You know, in for a semester, you can maybe talk. Okay? Because I feel like that's when you've reached a lot of your peak growth, and it's time to get you out there and get you a job. Okay, so you could absolutely use a professor's testimonial there for sure. Fair? Makes sense? Yep.
Maybe in the about you could have like a section for like links to site that actively use your work, so people can see what sites you've contributed
So
to
your
as well.
clients or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, absolutely. You could do that as well. You see that on agency portfolio sites, right? So they work with a bunch of different clients and they show their logos. So absolutely, you could do something like that. Yep. Could be a total separate section. One of the things I like other skills. Maybe you're a front-end developer. Okay. Maybe you decide you're going to be a front-end developer, but you're a damn good photographer. Could you include a link to photography? Sure. Absolutely. Okay. So there are additional links or areas that you can add, but just make sure these three are there. Absolutely, these three have to be here. Okay, here's a great question. How many samples do you need? What's the right amount of samples in your portfolio section?
Like 20?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I would love for you guys to have 10 to 20. So I'm thinking as a student. Me as a professional, I would say 10 to 20 as a professional. Probably more in the higher end, so 15 to 20. As a student, to legitimize, no, I'd say 10. By the time you graduate, you need 10 samples. And I'm telling you now because when you do it for me, I ask you to do 10 samples in your portfolio site. Okay? So, as students, I said this to section 2 yesterday. Every piece of work you do here has potential to be in your portfolio site. Every single piece. Okay? Whatever you want to become. Okay? If you get to like third semester and you're like, I've only got 6 samples. Okay? Could you not go take something from first semester and redo it because you have more knowledge and make it better and include that? Sure you could. Okay? That's how you can populate your portfolio area. Truthfully, okay? Could you got 6 samples from school. Could you do your own kind of experimental project? Certainly you could. I love seeing those, especially if you like motion design. Like those like kind of cool dynamic animations and stuff like that in cinema, and they bring them into After Effects and make them pop and all that stuff. Absolutely include that, okay? To try and get you to 10, all right? I really do feel by the time you graduate, you need 10 to legitimize that you know what you're doing, ideally, okay? This is off topic, okay? But the other class told me this. Do you guys like motion design by any chance?
Yeah.
Well, I know you do. We talk all the time. And did John tell you about the 1-year program that we're trying to get launched? No? Okay. Again, off topic, sorry. This has nothing to do with portfolios, it just came to my brain. We're trying to launch a 1-year program that, after you graduate IDP, is just motion design. So it's cinema and After Effects and all the great plugins that come with it to make it a 1-year diploma program. Okay? The other group said they're gonna sign a petition to get it moving.
Yeah.
Because I proposed it in, I think, 2019, and it's just been stuck in administration. So, anyways, if the petition goes around, it would be fantastic if you signed it. It's up to you, doesn't matter to me. But, I mean, me and John have been working on it for quite a while. Anyways, yeah, so eventually 10 pieces you're gonna want in your portfolio, okay? So I just talked about that, go figure. Tanner.
So, one question, all the 10 pieces should be same thing, for example, they all should be website or motion design, or they can be mixed?
It depends on what you wanna be. Truthfully. If you want to be a graphic designer, you're gonna show graphic design examples, right? You're not gonna show any back-end stuff. You could show some motion design stuff, but that's really not the core of a graphic designer, right? You're gonna show off logos and print ads and, layouts, website designs, okay? If you're a front-end developer, you're gonna show off front-end development sites that you coded, okay? You don't have to necessarily have designed them, but in your portfolio section, you're gonna show them off, and then you're gonna talk about the code, right? Because that's what you want to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because usually for projects, we designing everything ourselves
Yeah.
and we doing all of the parts. So
Yeah.
that's why when we want to put them as our portfolio, actually most of the parts ours. So
Yeah.
that's why I don't know how we should describe it.
Yeah,
Say
so
that we knew all of those things.
you know all of those things, but when eventually, before you leave here, I'm hoping, because remember we talked about careers last week? You're gonna take the summer, yes? And you're gonna figure out what you wanna be, yes? Okay, one of those pathways. And then when you come back in September, you're gonna try and focus on whatever that is, okay? Just so you know, when you come back in September, the very first week, you'll get a project and you'll get 48 hours to complete it, okay? And there's 4 in your group. 4 in your group. Front-end developer, motion designer, graphic designer, and a project manager, okay? 4 of you, you're gonna hit the ground running and you'll get a project. We used to only give you 24 hours, but I guess we've softened in our old age, and give you around 48 hours. So after you've thought about everything this summer, about what you want to be and so forth and so on, you jump into next semester, you're going to get an opportunity to be that position in projects and see if you like it. Okay? So anyways, if it's a group project and you're the front-end developer, should you be able to show it on your portfolio site? Sure you should. And just because you didn't design it, that's fine. You can still show it off. But when you write about that portfolio piece, you're gonna focus on what you did and say, yeah, you're a front-end developer, you're gonna talk about the back end or the code, okay? So that's how you're gonna connect to, so if you apply to my company, and you said you're a front-end developer, I go into your portfolio, I'm gonna look at the nice, pretty layouts, but I'm really gonna read about it quite a bit. So that's why you have to focus on that, if you're a coding person. It's a little tougher, right? Because it's not really visual, it's more technical. Okay. And that's a segue to my next screen. In your portfolio section, you're gonna show off all your cool stuff, right? Visually. Whether it's coding or graphic design or motion design or whatever, right? But you need to talk about it. You need to tell me why you did what you did. In simplest terms, tell me why you did what you did. Okay? Like this here, this is from she was a graphic design student, graduated there, and then she came here. She came to IDP. So this is an illustration in Illustrator. It looks pretty real, eh? Yeah. Okay. She talks about how she created that and go through the steps, and I'll read it to you in a sec. But you don't have to write a novel necessarily, okay? Right, when it comes to your portfolio pieces. But you want to showcase in the written word your approach and thought process. Why you did what you did. Okay? I do find that this part here is the hardest part. Okay? Because as say like a designer, we're going to talk about it in a different way if it was a front-end developer talking about code. You know? It's going to be different. Sometimes it's hard to articulate our thought process in the design world, let's say, okay? As much as the pictures that you create can look beautiful and make me want to look at them, it's just as important to talk about them, okay? Because as a potential employer, obviously I can see that and go, wow, that's pretty damn cool. It looks like a photograph, in my opinion, but it's done in Illustrator. I want to see and read about how she came up with what she came up with. It gives me insight into your process, the way you think. Okay? Makes sense? It's not easy to do. Okay? And the written part, I believe, will take you the longest. Okay? But it's important, super important. So, you know, what do you write about? And if we break it down, this should help you, okay? For each portfolio piece. You're gonna give it a project name. You know, you can include the client if there was a client. You know, if it's a school piece, it's a school piece. Just give it a name, right? You're gonna write about the goal. What was asked of you? Where can you get the goal? If it's a school project, where do you get what was asked of you? Where can you get it from?
Research?
Well, yeah, your research for sure. But when I give you projects, do I just say, just do this?
No, it's in the file.
It's in the course booklet, right?
So you
So that's kind of the objective. You know, that's what is asked of you in the project. You can use that as a basis point to tell you the potential employer, you know, this was what was asked of me. Okay? So after I had that down, you know, how was it created, or what was the goal achieved in the finished project? I always like to say it's kind of like cause and effect. Or, here's the problem, here's my solution. Does that make sense? Your clients come to you with a project, you might as well not call it a project, you might as well call it a problem. Because they don't know how to do it. So they come to you with a problem, you come up with the solution to fix it. So that's what you initially have to write about. what was the problem? How did I come up with the solution? Okay? I love looking at portfolios that tell me that. And literally, it can be problem, solution as titles, and then written words underneath it. Okay? If it's a group project, say who else is involved. But make sure you identify yourself as what you did. Okay, so for instance, it could be a list, you list off the other 3 students you work with and their positions, and then you list off you and what you did. So say you were the project manager, just indicate that. Okay, you could be the project manager and the front end developer as well. Just list it off if it's a group. Okay, yeah, that's what I said there. And then you can list off any software or coding languages in that particular portfolio piece as well. Okay. Makes sense if we break down how we're going to write about it. These are the things that we can write about and structure it. But always remember the problem and the solution. That if you can break it down like that, it'll make it easier to write about it. Okay? So something like Lauren, who she's a graduate of this course, she broke down, it's a simple, could this be just one of your portfolio pieces? Absolutely. Sure it could. Okay? Absolutely it could. So she broke it down into concept. To begin, I placed the photo in my Illustrator file, turn the opacity down in order to easily see my pen tool lines on top, and lock the layer. After that, I worked through the image layers, layer by layer, starting from the base of the camera to the top details, dials, and reflections, in order to make things easier, blah, 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 blah. She continues on and on. She broke down her entire process. Okay? Right down to the end. Altogether I had 9 parent layers with many sub layers in each. If you wish to know more about this project, feel free to contact me. That's pretty smart to write in there, correct? Okay. But it's taking a smaller project. Now, she didn't take the approach of problem solution. Okay. She just kind of gave us the full process. Is that okay? Sure it is. It is. Okay, because it's more of a small portfolio piece, right? In her website. So a lot of times what you'll notice as in the design world, you'll get something cool like this and it'll be like one sentence. I created this in Illustrator. Well, fantastic, but can you break it down a little bit more? It's not enough. I want to know how you think. I want to know your brain process when it comes to, say, design or code and so forth. Okay? So that's one kind of smaller idea of how you could break down a portfolio piece for a smaller portfolio piece. Now, this would be for something larger, like your final integrated project, or like your final integrated project this semester. Okay. They did a project. So I said problem solution. She did the brief, our concept. This is the same thing. Okay. What was asking me? What was the problem? How we came up with the solution. Okay, just different wording, which is fine. Okay, so this was the problem or the brief. In my program's final semester, we divided into teams of 2, and we were tasked with total website refresh. So moving forward after second semester, sometimes you will work on real client work. So this project was for Chantry Island Marine Heritage. I don't even know where it is. But they came to us and said, we need a new website. We need a new brand. We need some videos. We're in this tourist area. Can you turn it into a project for the students? So we do. Okay, so you actually get to work with real clients while you're in school, which is kind of cool. Did you know this program won an award for most innovative program in Canada? No? Does nobody tell you anything? Actually, we won the award. We came second. We got silver. Because we do things differently, as you probably have noticed. So we'll bring clients in, and you get to work on it. Okay. Your final integrated project in fourth semester, you will absolutely work on a client project. Okay. But sometimes we get little small ones, and like this Chantry Island Marine Heritage. Okay. And then there's a winner, and I don't know who won that year or won that one. Sometimes it's like money value that you get. I don't know. It depends on the project. Okay. So teams were consisted of one designer front end, me, of course, and one developer front end, back end, the lovely Kate Spence. So that was their partner. So she's telling us, there's two of us, and what their roles are. Okay. And then she goes into detail about the solution, what her and Kate came up with, and then she gets into what she did. Okay? Because she is the designer and front-end developer. She gives an overview between what they both did, and then she dives into what she did specifically. Yeah? Makes sense? Okay. I mean, it's your portfolio, right? Not that her name's Lauren Avery, by the way. She's actually, I think, the head designer at Good Life here in London. Not that she wants to, diss Kate, right? But she does, it's her portfolio, so she needs to focus on what she did in her written work. Yeah? Okay. And by the time you get into the fourth semester, I'm going to ask you to revise your portfolios and dig even deeper. But that's in fourth semester. We won't worry about that for now. Okay? Make sense on some of the things that you can write about, or how you can approach writing about your work. Because it's really hard, I know. It's well, I shouldn't say it's easy. It's great to be able to show off in pictures what you've done, but the hard part is the writing. It really is. But it is really important. Okay. All right. Let's do 10 minutes. Okay. And then we'll just finish off, and we'll probably be done